Starts right now.
And we are starting with a map of a traffic mess. You are looking at the upper level of eastbound I-10. It's going to be closed at Fredericksburg Road today.
Police tell us it will be closed for at least a couple more hours as crews clean up an overturned gravel truck. In the meantime, all southbound traffic will be diverted to the lower level.
San Antonio fire investigators say a fire that destroyed a vacant house overnight, no accident.
They believe someone may have intentionally set it. As Katrina Weber reports, it happened at a familiar location for those firefighters.
A fire and the house it was in are both on their last legs after San Antonio firefighters took on the flames and smoke they found here around 11 last night. They say when they arrived, the fire already was in full bloom inside the vacant house on West Houston near Zarzamora. Although they found no one here, they believe someone had been recently and possibly started the fire on purpose. Once they had it out, they had no choice but to tear down what was left of the house. The unstable walls, they say, presented a danger. What had been a home in the past is now in charred pieces. This wasn't the first time that firefighters have fought a fire here. They say just a couple of days ago, they put out one on the back of this house. Even before that earlier fire, firefighters say there were no working utilities and no one was supposed to be living here. The investigation into exactly how both fires started is still underway. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Happening today, Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez has accepted our invitation to join us live on the KSAT Q&A tonight at 6 o'clock. He's been criticized by Police Association for mistreatment of officers on trial and setting low bonds for criminals.
And he's faced accusations of failing to fully prosecute cases. DA Gonzalez has agreed to join us in person here in the studio for our KSAT Q&A to respond to those accusations and talk about his priorities for 2024. That's tonight on the news at 6.
Outside with live cam if you liked it yesterday and the day before. Oh, well, maybe not quite the same. There's a cloud out there.
A few. Just a few clouds. It still feels good out there, though. We've got some of those thin cirrus clouds. It's not going to affect our weather much. So, yeah, it's the filtered sun is there, but the temperatures are going to feel just like yesterday. Let me take you outside as we look there at 410. Right now, 64 in San Antonio, 66 in New Braunfels, 68 Seguin, 63 in Bernie, 64 in Kerrville. Feels great. I mean, these are ideal temperatures right now. Our forecast today, 69 at 2 o'clock, 70 at 3 p.m., 71 is our high temperature, and then we'll fall back down into the 60s tonight. Basically back into the 40s again tomorrow morning, so this looks pretty similar. We're going to do the same thing over again tomorrow before we do start to see some changes showing up in the forecast. And here are the biggest changes. It is rain chances showing up Friday night, especially. I think Friday evening and the Friday night is when our best rain chance will present itself. 60% Friday night. And we may still see a few showers going into Saturday morning before this all clears out in time for the weekend. So the timing looks pretty good. But we're going to talk more about our rain chances, how much we could see, all of that coming up here in just a few minutes. Guys.
Thank you, Justin. Now, new at noon, we're learning more about a man accused of shooting and killing his wife at an apartment complex on the northwest side.
San Antonio police identified him as 44-year-old Carlos Portillo. He is charged with murder in the case. Police say the trouble started at 7 o'clock in the morning when they found a man covered in blood and acting erratically and screaming.
The suspect told police the blood belonged to his wife, who police say they found dead in an apartment. This was near Vance Jackson Road in Warsbach. Police also found a gun in the area, which they believe could be the weapon used in the woman's death. The motive for the shooting is unknown at this time.
It'll be a while before San Antonio District 10 Councilman Mark White is arraigned for his DWI charge. It was supposed to happen later today, but now White's arraignment has been rescheduled for March 26th. Police arrested White in December on suspicion of DWI, and since then his fellow council members voted to censure him. White's attorney tells KSAT he asked for a reset because White's blood draw results are still pending.
Happening tonight, the City of San Antonio and the District 3 Council Office want to hear from you. They're discussing the design and future construction of a new police substation in South San Antonio. The $19 million project is part of the 2022-2027 bond program. You can learn more and have your voice heard tonight at 6 inside the STEM Early College High School cafeteria.
As city leaders are asking the community how they can improve Breckenridge Park. Tonight, there's going to be a Breckenridge Park community workshop. The goal is to get feedback from the public about what kind of changes that you'd like to see at the park to make the experience at Breckenridge better. It's happening at 5:30 till 8 at the YMCA on North St. Mary's, right next to Highway 281. Hey, the Spurs blow it the last couple of minutes against the Wizards last night. Pop with a reaction you haven't heard it in a while.
And just as rodeo season gets underway, the spirit of fiesta already felt today as officials behind one of the most popular events made a big announcement. Details still ahead.
The eclipse is going to be an incredible event. We had just like the appetizer in October, which was the so-called annular or ring of fire eclipse. The total eclipse is going to be far better.
That total eclipse coming to Texas in about 2 months. People are making plans as to where they want to be to see this once-in-a-lifetime event, including the students over at UTSA and the staff.
A UTSA professor of astrophysics explains the importance of wearing solar eclipse glasses during this big event. On April 8th of this year, the path of a rare total solar eclipse will pass through Texas, including parts of San Antonio and the Hill Country. During a total solar eclipse, the entire sun is covered for several minutes, making it appear dark outside.
Many people are going to be coming to our hometown, San Antonio, and they're going to be coming to a lot of hometowns around this city to get a view of this amazing natural phenomenon. UTSA working with city leaders to host an event for the public. They are finalizing those plans.
UTSA professor Chris Packham says when viewing the eclipse, keep yourself safe and enjoy the view by wearing solar eclipse glasses.
These glasses block out most of the energy of the sun and allow you to see the eclipse safely. So when we're in the phases before totality, you must be using this, and indeed after totality.
Well, this incredibly exciting time, not just for me personally, but also for really Central Texas in general. I've had friends of mine from Del Rio all the way to Fort Worth tell me about how excited they are for this opportunity to see the eclipse.
The last total solar eclipse was on August 21st, 2017. And remember, KSAT 12 is your eclipse authority.
Justin Horn and the rest of the weather team will have complete coverage on April 8th. And, of course, a lot of stories about the eclipse to get you set up for the big day. So it is going to be a big day.
We are so excited, I can't even tell you. We are nerding out in the
nerding out. There we go.
And you have an example of one of these.
we have some of the glasses they brought us from UTSA today, and he's right. So you got to wear these before and after.
Well, give us a look.
Well, there you go.
What are they going to look like?
Hey, you can't see them. That's the problem.
Aren't you cool?
I am cool. I am really cool. But the thing is, you'll need them most of the eclipse. It's just right during totality you won't need them, but it's going to be such a sight to see. Pretty incredible, and it's coming right over San Antonio. We are lucky to be seeing that here in town. So pretty awesome stuff. All right, we got to look at the aquifer real quick. It is down a tenth of a foot, 645.9. And your pollen count, Mount Cedar's high at 690, Mulzer low at 380. We'll talk about our forecast for the weekend, which does include some rain coming up.
Grand Marshal Michael Quintanilla.
Michael Quintanilla fired up, isn't he? You would be too if you're going to be the Grand Marshal of this big time parade. So congratulations to him. So that's the 2024 Fiesta Flambeau Grand Marshal Michael Quintanilla. The announcement made this morning.
Quintanilla became known after he was a fashion and style writer for the San Antonio Express News. He says he's honored to take on the role, fitting for someone once dubbed Mr. Fiesta.
Grew up with it. My mom would take me on the bus to see all kinds of things in San Antonio, and during Fiesta we would do that, ride the bus from the south side, and often we didn't have money like to buy the food from the vendors, but we would pack a lunch, and we would just go and hang out and try to do, well, we could only do things that were free, right? And so we would stand on the corners and on the streets and watch the parades as they went by. And those are the fondest memories, because I see families doing that today. And so, you know, that brings it all home to me. This has come full circle for me in my heart, and it just means so much.
Michael getting emotional, talking about his childhood. Great to see somebody from San Antonio grew up watching these parades. And congratulations also to retired Marine Corps Major General Angie Salinas. She's going to be the honorary Grand Marshal.
That's going to be such a fun event to watch. Now, Fiona and Mike are getting ready for SA Live at Historic Market Square.
It is the question of the day today, and I'm tired of hard questions, Mike. Give me something easy.
Oh, this is something easy, and I've got him already busy here in our SA Live kitchen. We've got yummy chocolate on the show today, so that got us thinking, well, what kind of chocolate is the best for you? Do you weigh in at dark, milk, or white chocolate? Scan that QR code and let us know.
Y'all make decisions so hard because they're all great. That's the tough part.
If you had to choose just one, David.
All right, milk. Milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
I'll go with the dark chocolate.
Me too.
Dark chocolate and a glass of red wine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dark chocolate's healthier for you, right? Isn't it supposed to be healthy? Dark chocolate?
And speaking of chocolate, we are going to make a great chocolate fondue recipe as well. So, yeah, dark chocolate and a glass of red wine, a little bit, bread.
I know.
I like your style, Mike.
Me too.
Thank you. Speaking of bread, it is also National Croissant Day. We're going to have some of those on there, too.
Look, one person has voted.
Dark chocolate.
Oh,
They went with dark. Mike, are you voting again? All right, he's voting again.
We'll see you in about 45 minutes.
All right, don't eat all the chocolate. Justin?
Well, as you said, dark chocolate's healthy, and white chocolate's pretty sweet. So just fall in the middle with milk chocolate. It's the way to go.
There you go.
Oh.
It doesn't always just brings both sides together.
Yeah, I was trying to logically think about this. It's a tough question, though. I mean, I'll eat all three. No problem. Let me show you here a picture on KSAT Connect. This is a good one. Roadrunner is out enjoying the great weather. It's sound effects. Let me tell you, it is hard to catch Roadrunner on camera because these things, they're fast. No sign of the coyote anywhere. At least not in frame there. He may be way behind, riding a rocket or something to catch up with Mr. Roadrunner here. But beautiful weather, and this is a great shot. We appreciate you so much sending that in. Let's talk rainfall. 6.72 for the year. We got so much rain last week. And it's just so great to see that we're almost 5 inches above average. Now, we need this to continue, right? We need to stay above average going throughout the rest of the year. The encouraging news is that we do have some rain in the forecast. And by the way, I know Del Rio hurting for some rain there. Don't know they're going to get much for this next system, but hopefully we'll get more as the winter wears on and as we get into spring. Satellite picture shows that we do have some high clouds. Now, I've added some color to them, but this does not mean there's any rain or anything like that. Just the darker the yellow and orange, that's kind of the thicker the high clouds. So these are way up in the atmosphere, generally made of ice, and they don't bring us any rain. They just kind of filter out the sun a little bit. So you can see we've got some of these clouds moving in right now. And as we zoom out, there are more off to the west, and these will be shifting in the next couple days. Again, not doing a lot for our forecast other than, as we said yesterday, makes for good sunrises and sunsets. So there is that. As we go outside for you right now, 64 with some of those thin clouds over top of us. South-southwesterly winds at about 5 and a really, really nice day. 70 at 3 o'clock, 71 is our high. 68 at 6 p.m., 62 at 7 p.m. Great for any evening outings, or maybe you got some sports going on later today. Looks good. 55, 9 o'clock, down to 52 at 11 p.m. with calm winds and still partly cloudy skies. What does the humidity do next few days? Well, it stays low. You're not going to notice it until we get into Thursday. It starts to ease up a little bit. We may see a bit more cloud cover on Thursday, not just the high clouds at this point, but some of those lower clouds because we've got some of that lower level humidity starting to come in, and we'll really notice it on Friday. Now that should eventually lead to some showers and storms before we dry out again over the weekend. So as we look at the futurecast here, this is the storm system that I'm watching. It's out over the Pacific right now, but it's a big one. and it's going to throw rain and wind to the west coast on Wednesday. This is 5 o'clock Wednesday. Then as it moves inland, it'll bring heavy snow and heavy rain to parts of California. So this is pretty reminiscent of an El Nino pattern when they get this kind of weather in California. Then it moves in our direction. So by Friday at 5 o'clock, not a lot yet. We've got a couple showers trying to develop, but pretty quickly, once the sun goes down, I think we'll see some showers and maybe even a storm or two as we get into Friday night and very early Saturday morning. This is midnight. And then this is 7 a.m. Saturday. Still showing a few storms, but I think they get out of here fairly quickly. I know we got the cattle drive Saturday morning, so the timing's going to be important here, but I think a lot of this is probably pushing east by sunrise. Then behind it, we get a westerly wind, and then it begins to pick up, and we'll get more of a northwesterly wind that'll get gusty on Sunday, and it'll feel a little bit colder, although this system's not going to draw in a lot of cold air. So we're still talking 60s. How much rain could we see? Well, I don't know that we'll see a ton, but maybe up to an inch here in San Antonio. Higher totals east, lower totals west. And you see Del Rio there. Still kind of missing out on the rainfall, unfortunately. Hopefully the next system will bring a little more rain out west. 71 Wednesday, 69 Thursday, 72 Friday. There's that 60% chance of rain starting Friday evening, going through about sunrise Saturday. And then 68 on Saturday, breezy, turning windy on Sunday with a high of 67.
So a nice jacket for Saturday's parade.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't look that cold, but it could be a little bit breezy. And again, we'll have to refine the timing with this rain. It's going to be a close call.
Okay.
You're going to have to hang on to her hat, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Former UTSA quarterback Frank Harris sticking around to put up some more impressive numbers for the Roadrunners. And reaction from San Antonio native after a rough NFC championship game. The Spurs with their third shot at a 3-game winning streak this season, hosting the Washington Wizards last night, the second worst team in the NBA. Things have been pretty good. Blake Wesley getting some good minutes. The steal and shot for the corner, 2-point game. Keldon Johnson, there it is, another one. And then where's Victor? Victor's around there somewhere, isn't he? Yeah, there he is. Watch Victor just, I like it. Always fun to watch him drive to the hole. He misses, but it's Victor, so he's going to get his own putback jam. First half clock winded down. Kyle Kuzma spins, step back, jumper, and there's the halftime buzzer. All right, Spurs hanging on the lead until the final minutes. Wesley with his third steal leads to a Ceedy Osman triple. San Antonio in front of Washington, 86-77. All of a sudden, the Wizards got hot, though. Jordan Poole, 3-shot from the corner, and then Tyus Jones, pick and roll, fadeaway. Wizards take the lead, under 2 to go. Jones is going to drain another jumper. Wizards finished the game on an 8-2 run. Spurs turned it over twice and gave up an offensive rebound and putback in that run by the Wizards. So there's your final, 118-113. Spurs led most of this one until, like we said, at the very end. After the game, we heard from Pop.
Well, it's what I call a self-inflicted loss. I thought Washington played harder than we did. They played smarter. They executed better. We didn't have enough people playing well or playing smart, and we did that to ourselves. So I think it's a tough loss because for the first time in a while, we looked young, we looked immature, we looked foolish, and did not play with each other the way we have been. So that's a disappointment.
They'll get another shot tomorrow night. In the meantime, he spent 7 seasons as quarterback for the UTSA Roadrunners. During those seasons, he had to go through 11 surgeries. He's not going anywhere, though, just changing his daily work clothes, uniform to street clothes. Harris was joined by UTSA head football coach Jeff Traylor and 47 UTSA football players in the lobby of the PM offices yesterday, where he announced that he will be the new vice president of City Fans 210, an NIL fundraising organization that seeks to raise financial support for UTSA athletes with a focus on college football. And Harris told us why this new role is so intriguing to him.
It's a perfect position for me to give back. Like I said, I don't feel like I'm going to be working at all. I feel like I've been going out talking to people my whole life, trying to represent UTSA the best that I can. And now I'm representing UTSA football and City Fans as well. So I'm definitely excited for it. Hopefully we can benefit from it. Hopefully I can bring some awareness and get some money for these guys and keep everybody here.
Yeah, he will be a great ambassador. He plans to reach a goal of $1 million in funding for the UTSA football recruiting office over the next year.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
You don't want to lose. And losing to go to the Super Bowl, I mean, it makes it that much worse. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, Josh Reynolds and the Detroit Lions suffered a devastating loss to the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. San Francisco is going to face Kansas City in Super Bowl rematch from 4 years ago. The Chiefs were able to hold off Baltimore in the AFC title game to advance. The Chiefs are going to try to become the first back-to-back champion since New England did it back in the 03-04 season. The Niners looking for a record-tying 6th Super Bowl title in their 8th appearance, February 11th in Las Vegas. We don't want the 49ers to win because we want the Cowboys to still have more Super Bowls than the 49ers, or at least as many. We don't want them having more.
Okay, there you have it.
So there you go. There's your motivation for rooting for the Chiefs.
Okay. We're always Texas here, too. Now, if you're planning a trip out of the country, there may be areas you want to avoid. The place is now under a travel warning.
An average of 17 people in the U.S. die waiting to get a new organ every day. What if there was another source of organs besides humans? There may be. Why pigs could be the future of human organ transplants. Coming up.
New today at 5, whether you watch dramas, comedies, or sports, you can watch live or binge whenever you want at a price, of course. And depending how many services you have, subscriptions and fees can add up. But we've got 5 ways to slash your streaming bill today at 5 after Entertainment Tonight.
Beautiful outside. Another one of these gorgeous days, 67 degrees. We call these Chamber of Commerce days.
A nice day to have lunch outside, Justin.
Another day. That was yesterday, and I implored more people at the station to go outside and have lunch. Now today, I bet there's.
You think there's some out there?
You don't have to go check.
Do I have time? Let me go check. I'm not afraid.
David's going again. Report back. We'll see how it goes. If you are going to be outside, I want to let you know that if you missed this earlier, Mountain Cedars in the high category, it's at 690. Molds are low at 380. So this is about a little bit more than what we were looking at yesterday when it comes to Mountain Cedar. And what about the Mountain Cedar season? Where do we stand? We should be on the back end of it. The way things typically work out is we get into February, these numbers start to fall. But we had some really high numbers right around the new year and parts of mid-January when you would typically expect it. And now we should start to see a decline. We always say February, Valentine's Day, February 14th, typically when things really start to fall off. David, what's the latest out there?
Nobody is out there, man.
What is going on?
There was one photographer sitting in the snack room eating, and I think he's looking outside like, maybe that's a good move.
Okay. Well, I would say yes, have lunch outside. 70 degrees at 3 o'clock, 71 at 4 o'clock. We're going to check again tomorrow. Someone better be out there. 60s at 7 o'clock, 59, 8 p.m., and down into the low 50s a little bit later tonight. A couple good days of good weather here. We are going to get more clouds, though, some fog, maybe some rain here and there in our extended forecast. We're going to look at that for you in just a few minutes.
If you are having lunch outside, send Justin a picture.
Yes, do that.
Now, a number of attendees of the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo Barbecue Cook-Off were left with a bad taste in their mouth, but it wasn't the food or the experience. It was paying for what they thought was authorized parking and then being towed. This happened over the weekend at THT Off-Road. The owner says the parking for his business was supposed to have been blocked off so no one could park there. But he tells KSAT he learned that his employees were using the parking lot without permission to make extra money. Chris Derby with the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo says to avoid the frustration and headache of being towed, just head to sarodeo.com.
For all the parking, we actually have our lots all color-coded, lot 1 through 9. We also have some shuttle lots that are available. Any one of those will work. If you go to sarodeo.com and look for parking, you can see we actually pre-sell some of our parking as well, or you can buy the shuttle parking.
Meanwhile, the owner of THT Off-Road says if you were towed, just call THT Off-Road and ask for Mark and send in a copy of the towing receipt.
People living in Northwest Bexar County are asking San Antonio and Bexar County leaders to join their efforts to stop a major development they fear will impact the quality of their drinking water. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality has reviewed a permit by Leonard Homes to build a wastewater treatment facility north of Gray Forest. The treated wastewater from the nearly 3,000 homes would be dumped into the nearby Helotes Creek. Many residents, the city of Helotes, Gray Forest, the Greater Edwards Aquifer Alliance, and even Metro Health have opposed the permit request. Organizations are asking for the TCEQ to hold off on a final vote and grant a request for it to become a contested hearing.
Basically, it sounds like TCEQ is looking at this application saying they're following the law. Everything seems to be okay. Go ahead and approve it.
That's exactly correct. And what we see in so many of these then is the burden falls on individuals who are going to be impacted and organizations like ours to raise the money, to hire lawyers, to fight these permits, which just seems like the TCEQ is not doing as best as they could to protect the citizens of Texas.
The city of Gray Forest, Helotes, and Greater Edwards Aquifer Alliance have hired attorneys to contest the TCEQ permit, and they're asking anyone who uses faucet water to email TCEQ and local leaders to push them to oppose that permit request. KSAT emailed Leonard Holmes and TCEQ for comment multiple times, but we have yet to hear back.
Elon Musk is marking an important milestone for his controversial startup Neuralink. According to a tweet by Musk, the company has implanted a chip in a human brain for the first time. The Neuralink device, called telepathy, is meant to help people who have lost the use of their limbs. The device is designed to connect the human brain to a computer, giving patients the ability to control with a cursor or keyboards with their minds. Now, the FDA gave clearance for human trials last year. Neuralink has been working on this product for half a decade, but the company faced scrutiny after a monkey died during a trial in 2022.
Recent advances in pig cloning and gene editing and a better understanding of infection control have led a handful of institutions to make breakthroughs. Those key steps could allow the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to sign off on a clinical trial in the near future. The FDA says such transplants show great promise, but they also have some potential risks. Biotech companies are already raising pigs to try to solve the organ shortage crisis. They are using cloning and gene editing to create the pigs for transplants. The editing includes removing some pig genes and adding some human genes to make the pig organs a better fit for humans.
A Philadelphia jury has ordered Bayer, the company behind Roundup weed killer, to pay more than $2 billion to a Pennsylvania man who got cancer after using the product. Lawyers say John Mikavision was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma after using Roundup for 20 years. A jury found Monsanto was negligent and that Monsanto failed to warn that Roundup is a defective cancer-causing product. An active ingredient in weed killer products like Roundup has been associated with respiratory effects such as irritation in the nose or asthma. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the World Health Organization seem to disagree on whether it might have carcinogenic to humans. Bayer says they will appeal the verdict.
The Justice Department issued a grand jury subpoena for documents to the Sergeant of Arms for the U.S. House of Representatives. The House clerk on Monday read a letter on the floor from the Sergeant at Arms informing the chamber of the subpoena. According to a source familiar with the matter, the subpoena involves a Democratic member and the misuse of funds. The identity of the member was not immediately clear, nor were additional details regarding the alleged misuse of those funds, except that it had to do with security. The Justice Department declined to comment.
President Biden is weighing his options to retaliate after Iran-backed militants killed 3 U.S. service members and wounded more than 40 others. Yesterday, the president convened an urgent meeting with his national security team in the Situation Room. He's blaming radical Iran-backed militants for the attack. But despite growing calls to strike Iran directly, Biden is worried about sparking a wider war. U.S. officials tell ABC News the attack happened early Sunday morning in the Jordanian desert. A drone with explosives bypassed U.S. air defenses. Officials say no one tried to shoot it down because they thought it was a U.S. surveillance drone.
House Republicans moving closer to impeaching Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. They are holding a markup of their impeachment articles against Mayorkas today. The allegations in their resolution say the cabinet secretary committed high crimes and misdemeanors for the way he handled the southern border. A number of constitutional experts have said the evidence just doesn't reach that high bar. However, Republicans are facing building pressure from their base to hold the Biden administration accountable on the key campaign issue. Senior House Republicans are confident they have the support to impeach Mayorkas.
Travel advisory was recently issued for the Bahamas, but it's not the only place the State Department is warning travelers about.
Just when millions getting ready to book their spring break getaway, a travel alert for you.
The State Department issued a travel warning for the Bahamas, but as ABC's Victor Oquendo explains, it's not the only area under a warning.
A new warning as many Americans seek to trade frigid temperatures and snow for a tropical oasis. The State Department issuing a level 2 travel advisory for the Bahamas after reports of at least 18 murders in Nassau this year alone. Officials warning that gang crime is happening in both tourist and non-tourist areas, even in broad daylight. The victims primarily locals. The State Department also urging travelers to be vigilant when staying at short-term vacation rental properties where private security companies do not have a presence. Jason Russell is a college sophomore going to the Bahamas with a group of friends for spring break.
We were definitely thinking we should probably stay within the resort, and our parents obviously a little concerned with the situation.
Stephen Probst just arrived for vacation in the Bahamas yesterday. The Florida native says he'll still take the same precautions like he would for any trip.
I don't carry any cash, or as little as I could possibly. I don't bring any jewelry with me. I don't bring anything that, no computers or anything. It's basically getting out there and not having something that someone can steal.
The travel warnings due to crime stretch across the West Indies, with level 2 advisories in both the Dominican Republic and Turks and Caicos. Tourists asked to reconsider travel to Jamaica altogether, where there is currently a level 3 advisory.
If you do your homework beforehand and you learn what the problems are and where they are occurring, you can do some things to protect yourself and your family on your vacation.
And with this new warning, you might be considering travel insurance, but it can be tough to use. It also has strict limits. Just know that every policy is different, and you really should read the fine print. Victor Oquendo, ABC News, Miami Beach.
Well, if you're thinking twice about doing that, then think about San Antonio, because if weather like this comes spring break, whew, just as good as the Bahamas.
Oh, yeah. It'll be crowded. We're going to have a lot of visitors this year, not only for spring break, because we always do, but for the eclipse as well. We talked about that earlier, April 8th. There's going to be a ton of people coming to San Antonio. We know that. And the weather, hopefully, cooperates. So look at the records. So this just goes to show you that January is one of those wild months, especially the end of the month where we can see just about anything. We got up to 89 in 1971 on this date. In 1949, we got down to 5. And by the way, the record all-time low for San Antonio, that's tomorrow, 0. So we can see a little bit of everything. We're right in the middle now, right where we like it in the 60s, and that's where we stay next couple of days. That forecast straight ahead.
So many events this year happening here in San Antonio.
That's why we need some great weather coming up. We need some rain. But maybe the rain will come in between all the events, like this Saturday. We need the rain to get out of here early Saturday morning.
It's all about timing, right? I am nervous about all of it because...
Oh, don't be nervous.
Well,
you know.
We want good weather for the rodeo, but we do need rain.
Right.
We want good weather for Fiesta, but we do need rain. And we want good weather for the eclipse, but we do need rain.
And so, you're going to stress yourself out.
You know, this is part of being a meteorologist. It's all going to work itself out. I have positive thoughts. Let me take you to KSAT Connect once again. Carrie out of Canyon Lake sent in this great picture of the halo around the moon. You may be able to see this again tonight, and here's why. We got these cirrus clouds that continue to stream across the sky. They're made of ice, so it refracts the light, and you get this perfect circle. Sometimes around the sun, but also around the moon. Looks very, very cool. And Carrie, we appreciate you sending that in. Let's take a look at the water vapor, and you'll see this upper level moisture that I'm talking about, where these pink colors are. That's kind of the thicker high cloudiness. We showed you that last half hour, but the water vapor kind of gives us a different view of it. It shows you the moisture in the atmosphere, and we've got that high level moisture that continues to stream in. There is no rain in these clouds, but what we're waiting on is this storm system out here, which will produce some rain. You see this spin? This is a massive storm system starting to take shape out here in the Pacific. And as it moves closer to shore, next couple of days, it'll produce a lot of rain, already producing some rain in the Pacific Northwest. But as it does, it'll produce even more and snow in the higher elevations of California, Sierra Nevadas, and then work its way towards Texas by Friday. it'll begin to produce a few showers as early as dinner time Friday. So the timing here is important, right? And this can always change a little bit. These systems tend to speed up sometimes. But I think our main threat for rain is going to be Friday night. So this is 9 o'clock, and we're starting to get some showers and storms here. By the way, I can't count out a strong storm with this. Just the way this storm system looks, the energy, it's good. We could see 1 or 2 storms, but mostly just some rain. And this will continue Friday night into very early Saturday morning. And at 7 a.m. Saturday, still does show some showers around, but I think these get out of here pretty quickly. So by 5 o'clock, certainly the rain is pushing east, but even I think by time we get the Parade the Cattle Drive going on Saturday morning, the rain should have left the area. And we'll get westerly winds behind it, which will dry us out, and we'll get some gusty winds out of the north and northwest on Sunday that will pick up to around 30 to 35 miles per hour. So we'll get more wind in the forecast too. How much rain? Up to an inch, maybe. I don't think these numbers are going to be huge. I mean, the window to get rain is pretty small, so maybe half an inch, maybe up to an inch in spots, and certainly some better rain as you go off to the east. Time lapse shows those cirrus clouds I was talking about that continue to stream across the sky. We'll get more of that into the afternoon. Right now, we are sitting in the 60s here in San Antonio, 64, 65 in Kerrville, a beautiful afternoon. And I think we eventually make our way up to 71 later today with mostly sunny skies to partly cloudy skies. 70 in Floresville, 72, Pleasanton, 70 down there in Kennedy. And those rain chances, yep, highest on Friday night. We'll pick them up Friday evening and then continue Friday night with a little bit of a chance Saturday morning. So let's put it all together for you. Basically around 70 next few days. You see the rain chances. It does clear out over the weekend. 68 Saturday, 67 on Sunday, and 65 on Monday. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Students at one local school are getting the chance to get hands-on experience in TV news.
KSAT 12 producer Haley Powers got a look at a program at Wernley Elementary during a career day at that school.
Within an hour and a half's time, I got the chance to speak to nearly 100 students at Wernley Elementary in Northside ISD. The school hosting their annual career day, bringing in people from all occupations.
My name is Haley. I am a news producer at KSAT 12, which is the ABC station here in San Antonio.
Wernley opened their doors in 2020, and since then, their morning announcements have been ran like a newscast.
Good morning, Wernley Wildcats. Welcome to WWN-TV. Here at Wernley, we are on the prowl for knowledge.
Each year, a group of about 25 to 35 fifth graders get the chance to tell the morning announcements. All students learn how to direct the shows, anchor them, and run the scripts.
It's really fun just coming in here with everybody else from different classes. We work together just to announce to everybody. Just the announcements.
Faculty and staff at the school say having their fifth graders run the announcements help give them a sense of pride and step into a leadership role on campus.
The kids will come in and say, when the kids see me in the hallway, they're like, I saw you on TV. And so that just gives them that leadership role.
The news announcements include the pledges, what's for lunch, birthdays, and important news.
We really work together to make it a school community broadcast every morning.
Students interested in being in the WWN-TV news crew get to apply and audition when they're in 4th grade. Haley Powers, KSAT 12 News.
That's so cute.
Speaking of TV stars, Mike and Fiona at historic Market Square.
Well, we're stars just because of the guests we have and the food we have and stuff like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, this is the real star of the show.
National Croissant Day. Look at this. And Bakery Lorraine brought these over here. We're already kind of claiming them. So I want this one. I want this one. Those almond one.
And the chocolate right there.
Speaking of chocolate.
Oh, yes. Yes. Paola Lloyd, of course, with Fiesta in the Kitchen. She is an author. That's the book right there. And today we are mixing up some chocolate, right?
Yes, we are. We're going to make a chocolate fondue, which is one of the best desserts to have for Valentine's Day.
Don't mind if I do. And you've got a great tip if you're going to melt chocolate, right?
Yes. You want to try to use a double boiler. If you don't have one, you can just use a pan with water and a bowl that sits on top. You want to make sure the water doesn't touch the bottom of your pan. And once the chocolate is melted, you want to lift out your pan and make sure this is really dry, because any drop of water will seize your chocolate, and you don't want that.
You have wrecked dessert then, so you don't want to do that. Speaking of chocolate, question. dark milk white.
Scan that QR code and weigh in. So far right now, milk chocolate in the lead.
Not surprising.
Yeah, not surprising.
Yeah. All right. Hey, great place, been around for a long time. Bombay Bicycle Club. They've got a new location. And on Tuesdays, they have got a really, really great deal. Kind of a double whammy, sort of a great deal with a burger and then for something else if you're heading on downtown there. So that burger looks so good.
All that and more when SA Live continues.